Okay, here we go, IXL math again, but we're talking about 3 different standards on this video. We're talking about a 6, which is skip counting by 2s, a 7, which is skip counting by 5s, and a 8, which is skip counting by 10s. So in the IXL problems, you will see just groups of items. And when you just see groups of items, those are already grouped equally for you. So that on these 3 problems, on these 3 standards on IXL, they are already grouped for you in equal groups, because remember, we can't count by 2s, 5s, or 10s unless we know the groups are equal. So on these equations, you do not have to go through and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like, you don't need to count every single tiny object in each group. For these 3 standards, we're talking about counting them as a group. So each unit. So it's 10, 20, 30, because we are trusting that they are the equal groups in them already. So how do we count by 2s? How do we count by 5s? How do we count by 10s? Well, let's start down here and go up. Because on a hundreds chart, it's easiest to count by 10s, and then 5s, and then 2s. So first, let's do IXL Math A8, counting by 10s. So I find it easiest to count by 10s on a hundreds chart, because I only have 10 fingers. I can't count 10, 10, 10 like that. It's just not easy. It's not as easy as a hundreds chart. So a hundreds chart, we've done lots of work in first grade on a hundreds chart. So we are pretty familiar with the actual organization of it. In the top left is always where we start counting. That's our starting point. And we always start at the top left. And we read a hundreds chart just like we read a book. Left to right, top to bottom, one line at a time. So if we're counting by 10s, I just need to look for the first 10 and then find my pattern. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So my pattern here with a 10, there's that 0. With the 20, the 0 did not change. The front number did. It went up by 1. So this is a plus 1. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Every single time we count by 10s, the 0 in the ones place does not change. What changes is that first number by 1. But remember, first grade, when we're talking about the 10s place, we're not talking about just 1. This number here, that number in that column, that is worth 10. Each of those numbers is worth a 10, not just a 1. So now let's move on to A7, counting by 5s. Again, just look for the pattern. Counting by 5s, we start at our top left corner of our hundreds chart, go to 5, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna skip all the way over to the other column. 5, 10. And then we need to skip back. 15, skipping back, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So remember, excuse me, make sure I turn the phone off, sorry. So starting at 5, skipping over to 10. We skip all of these numbers. That's why it's called skip counting. You do not say every number out loud. And if you want, first grade, you can think of our nickels. We can count by 5s with our nickels. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So let's see what that looks like written out. 5, 10, 15, 20. You still see that? Awesome. 25, 30. Woo, just barely, perfect. So this is us skip counting by 5s if the numbers are written on top of each other. We have a 5, and then a 0, and then a 5, and a 0, and then a 5, and a 0. And technically, if we started counting at 0, which is a number, 0 is a number, we have nothing, nothing, and then we have a 1 and a 1, and then we have a 2 and a 2. So when we skip count by 5s, we also have a pattern. 0, 5, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And lastly, A6, counting by 2s. Now this time counting by 2s is, skip counting by 2s is probably the hardest of the 3. So skip counting by 2s, you can also find the pattern. Always, always look for that pattern. If we start at the star, which is technically 0, then we say a number out loud, and then we say a number in our head. We say a number out loud, and then we say a number in our head. Out loud, in our head. Out loud, in our head. Out loud, in our head. Out loud. Skip counting by 2s, you say 1 out loud and then 1 in your head. 1 out loud, 1 in your head. In class last quarter, we were just whispering. So we would say 1 loud teacher voice and then 1 whisper, partner voice. 1 loud teacher voice, 1 whisper, partner voice. So 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What it sounds like with your teacher voice is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We finished a line, so just like a book, we go down 1 line and start at the left. Whisper. 11, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Anything that you say out loud or in a loud teacher voice, that is skip counting by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so forth.